I brought on our resident draft expert onto the show. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the one and only Mike Guido. How are you doing, Mike?
I didn't know it was 50 for you, Timmy. Congratulations, attaboy.
Thank you. Yeah, big number 50. I can't believe it myself. But yeah, it's great, man. And yeah, I mean, Mike, what are you thinking? Just generalities right now. Patriots number 4. What's going on?
Yeah, first of all, I wanted to say on your top 20 list, I was very surprised to not see Ramondre Stevenson on that list, by the way, which was interesting. But listen, I'm just throwing it out there, man. I had no idea that you thought so lowly of the Patriot running back.
I like Ramondre. I've been a fan of his. It was just last year, the amount of fumbles that he committed. Antonio Gibson outplayed him, by a country mile.
Yeah.
So that's why, to me, the top 20, I was like, yeah, I mean, Gibson is the backup, but if Stevenson can hold on to the ball, he's a very talented guy. He's a very good running back.
No doubts.
Yeah.
No doubts. So, listen, man, the Patriots have a very interesting day ahead of them tomorrow. I think they have a really interesting night because they kind of have to wait for what happens in front of them. And obviously, like, that kind of sounds like, pretty redundant, but I genuinely think that their decision, their decision hinders on what happens in front of them. I think we can kind of say to this point that Cam Ward is fairly certain to be number 1, right? I'm pretty much willing to go to the same length that I think Travis Hunter is going to be number 2, right? The Giants are still a little bit of a wild card. I think there's still somewhat of a possibility that they could take Shedeur Sanders. I don't anticipate that, but I think there's an opportunity for that. And if they don't take Shedeur Sanders, I have a feeling that it'll be Abdul Carter. And that means for the Patriots, they've got a choice of, any offensive lineman they want, whether it's Will Campbell, whether it's Armand Membo, whether it's, they could go in a million different, Kelvin Banks if they wanted to go crazy. So they have a lot of different directions, Timmy. I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot of that.
Absolutely. And I want to touch about a couple of those guys in just a little bit that you mentioned. But looking at the team needs that the Patriots, are in desperate need of. Yeah. Number 1, of course, left tackle. Number 2 is wide receiver. And then kind of 3, 4, and 5. I wanted to throw like offensive line in general, but I kind of feel that, left tackle, almost implies the whole line. Because if you don't have a solid left tackle, then you have nothing, right. Especially with a potentially superstar quarterback, right?
Right.
So I went with edge because, again, yes, Keon White, Harold Landry, good players. But if we could get an Abdul Carter, people are talking Jalen Walker from Georgia. If we could get a guy who is that stud, who can just bull rush, get to the quarterback, and be that edge guy that we had with who we just traded to the Falcons last season, right before the season started.
Matthew Judon.
Matthew Judon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. If we could have a guy like a Matthew Judon, but a kid who can grow and develop and be that edge, that I think would be clutch for the defense. And then to round it off, safeties, as I mentioned, Kyle Duggar, Jabril Peppers. Jabril Peppers got in a little bit of hot water with the law. I think he came out of it, no contest or whatever, no, not guilty. But then again, Kyle Duggar is only successful on a defense when he has somebody like a Devin McCourty who can be the cover guy. And as much as I love Jabril Peppers, I feel like Duggar and Peppers are kind of the same guy. Right.
Yeah.
Jabril Peppers might be slightly better at guarding tight ends and playing the coverage safety, but he's not necessarily a cover safety. Right. And then lastly, running back is, I think, a need that I would argue every team, unless you have a Derrick Henry, an AP, or LaDainian Tomlinson, like unless you have that guy, you always need a running back. And the Patriots, I don't see taking a running back. I do want to talk about Ashton Genty in a little bit, but I think that if we were in a position where we didn't need an offensive line and we didn't need a stud wide receiver and a true number one, then I wouldn't mind a running back at 4, especially at Ashton Genty's level. The only thing about that is I'm also of the mindset taking a running back this early is the dumbest thing you can do as an NFL organization. I know you're a big Cowboys fan, Mike. You know, but taking Zeke that early, he was a good running back. I get it. But it's like you could have filled another hole. You could have done this and with that draft. So, I mean, you know, what, like, in terms of the team needs, do you think I kind of like hit the nail on the head or?
Yeah, I do. I listen, I think you're 100% right on what their number one need is. The Patriots absolutely need to improve their offensive line. They have to find a way to protect Drake May. It needs to be up and down the offensive line, which is why I think Will Campbell is such a great fit, because I don't particularly see Will Campbell failing in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to play left tackle long term. I think he's got the potential to do that, but I think even if he doesn't play left tackle, he's going to be an all-pro at guard, right? Yeah. Even if you have to slide him inside, I think that that's reasonable to expect. So I think offensive line obviously needs to be the number one priority. Ashton Genty is an interesting conversation, and I don't. That's something I don't really anticipate either. But you know, you just brought it up, right? Ramondre Stevenson had ball control issues last year. Antonio Gibson, you know, after his couple of solid seasons in Washington, just simply has not been the same player. Like he's just hasn't been the kind of player that we saw early on in his career. So it's possible that the Patriots just, you know, throw their hands up and say, you know what, let's get the for sure blue chipper. Because like I know our buddy EJ Savage is one of the few people I know that has this, but he's not crazy, that has Ashton Genty as the number one player in the whole draft. Like, he's like, Ashton Genty is that special of a player, and I think really highly of him too. But I do think you nailed it on the head. They obviously could use some help on the edge. They're taking a lot of risks at that position, right? Harold Landry, I'm with you. I like him a lot. I liked him ever since he was in college. I've always been a big Harold Landry guy, but it's true. He hasn't produced. Yeah, right. And listen, he hasn't produced in years. Like, we haven't really seen a great Harold Landry in a long time. So what they can get out of him is really to be seen, right? Anthony Jennings is another one of these kind of hybrid linebackers that plays sort of different spots. Like, it's interesting to see how they can go with this.
Yeah.
But they do have positions of need, Timmy, and this is not like, I think you and I can both agree. I don't think this is a draft where, like, the Patriots cannot solve all of their issues with one draft, right? No team can, right? And the Patriots are a team, particularly because they're so early on in a rebuilding process, right? They have a brand new coach. They're just kind
of manager.
Right, exactly. They've torn down the whole Tom Brady regime. It's taken them a little bit of time to recover. They've kind of, like, they have a lot of holes. This is a team that needs work. So getting guys in the right direction is, you know, that's the step I think they need to take now. Yeah,
exactly. And the thing that, you know, tearing down the whole Brady regime, yes, at the coaching field they did, but a lot of the guys in the front office, Elliot Wolf has been here in New England for I think 4 years now. The kid before him, Matt Groh, he's been with New England as a scout for a very long time. So they are still here, and they still, the fact that Elliot Wolf is here and was able to convince Robert Kraft that, hey, no. Bill Belichick was the guy that did all this, not me. No, I'm good. I backed off. No, look at my new scouting system, right? It looks so good. It's so much better than Bill's. Yet you picked Javon Baker and Jalen Polk. And, oh, yeah, that's right. The Chargers just made fun of your ass on their Twitter yesterday for you asking, oh, if we make this trade, who are you going to take? What position? What side of the ball are you going to take? Did you see that? Oh, my God. It was like the funniest thing. It's like, thank you, San Diego. Thank you, Chargers. Like, you just proved my point. Like, it felt like I was watching draft day. Like, Well, okay. Well, who are you going to take if I trade you this pick?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Yeah.
Draft Day, by the way, underrated movie. That's got to get thrown out there as well. I know some people hate it, but I love it.
You know what? Like for a storyline purpose, it's yes, I get it, but it does irk me a little bit because I'm like, that's not how drafts would happen at all.
I don't care. It gets me hyped up for the draft. That's kind of how I feel about it.
With that being said, bring the draft back to New York. Oh, Radio City
please.
Music Hall. It needs to go back there. By the way, frequent commenter, Knocked, congrats on 50 shows, Tim. Thank you. It's I like I said, can't believe it's been 50, and what a great setting, right? NFL draft right here, great setting for 50th show. The other thing I want to talk about, so this is going to be brief, but the Patriots draft selections, obviously the big topic of conversation will be the first overall or number 4 overall. We had the number 1 overall pick, and Joe Milton decided to do Tennessee volunteer things and ruin the Gators' hearts like mine, except we did beat Joe Milton at the Swamps. Which I was at that game. But then to go on, 38 in round 2, 69 in round 3, 77 in round 3, 106 in round 4, 2 picks in round 5, 144, 171 from the Cowboys, and then 2 in round 7, 220, 238. So, one other thing before we start breaking down player profiles is there's been a lot of chatter, local media, national media, who the Patriots are interested in all the guys that we're going to be talking about tonight are guys that have been rumored to go number 4 to New England at some point.
Yep.
But recently, there's been this whole conversation of it's going to be Will Campbell. It's going to be Will Campbell. And to prove my point with that, you have Diana Rossini, Peter Schrager, Adam Schefter, Jeremy Fowler, Jonathan Jones, kind of all saying the same thing. Diana Rossini, expect the Patriots to use their top selection to beef up their offensive line. Peter Schrager, only mock draft based on sources has Patriots selecting Will Campbell. Adam Schefter, the guy that is connected with everybody in NFL. He even says that Will Campbell certainly seems like a Mike Vrabel type of pick. Jeremy Fowler, several industry sources believe the Patriots have an affection for Will Campbell. And then this is the big one. Jonathan Jones, even if Carter is available here, I still think the Patriots take an offensive tackle here. Campbell appears to be the pick. Now, that one right there, I as much as I've heard the talk about Abdul Carter and kind of being an a-hole and, being that selfish guy, I kind of would, especially with Mike Vrabel as the head coach, I am kind of interested in putting up with that. If he can produce at the next level, who would you take? Abdul Carter with the team needs that the Patriots have? Would you take Carter or would you take Campbell?
I think Campbell's the guy. Listen, I hate to not be the contrarian that mixes things up, but I really think that Will Campbell is the guy there. First of all, I don't think Abdul Carter is going to make it to the Patriots. I just have a feeling that the Giants are going to take him or the Browns are going to take him or whatever. So I don't even know that the Patriots are going to have that option, but I do think that the Patriots have kind of zeroed in on Will Campbell. They've done unbelievable amounts of work on him. I think they did a lot of work on Will Campbell. They did a lot of work on Armand Membo as well. I think they're really interested in those top tier tackles, and they really think that they're going to have the first crack at an offensive lineman. So I think as long as they feel they can get the top offensive lineman on the board, I think that that's probably what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of the same things. I've heard a lot of like, yeah, they're interested in Will Campbell, but if Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter make it down to 4, that's going to be the top of their priority list. I kind of fall in line a little bit with Jonathan Jones, because I think the reality is that this is their biggest need. It's their biggest need by far. They got to protect Drake May. I think that, like, even despite the record, Tim, you know, you saw a lot of positive things out of Drake May last year. The guy's got a whistle for an arm. Like, I think there's a lot of upside there. You got to keep that kid upright. You got to make sure that he stays healthy. And then, like I said, Will Campbell's a very versatile offensive lineman where you can play him on the outside. If it doesn't work for him on the outside, you can move him to the inside. Like, there's a lot of stuff to like here. So I agree. I think if I had to put my money on it, and I'm going to have a mock draft coming out either tonight or tomorrow. I don't remember when it's going to get published. But if I had to put my money on things, there would be a good chance that I'd take Will Campbell at 4, just if I were predicting things right now. And even if I were the GM of the Pats, I think I would probably say Will Campbell would be my guy.
Yeah, to the side of Campbell. Yeah, I mean, listen, the thing, and like I said, we're gonna talk Will Campbell in just a little bit, but I do want to just throw this out there. Recently, with him in his press conferences talking about his arm length, it has kind of almost reassured me in a sense where I'm like, you know what, I kind of want this. I kind of want that badass where he takes all that anger and puts it out there, but
yeah, he punches you, dude. He really does. I mean, like, I understand the arm length thing. I do. And like I said, we're going to talk about it a little bit more. But I understand the whole arm length thing. But they also said the same thing about Ryan Ramczyk when he got drafted. And he had a great NFL career as well. So, like, I'm not, that doesn't concern me. This kid's got bully in him. He's a tough kid.
And, well, Mike, Grid Network commenting.
Oh, hey.
Host. It's already published, baby.
Already up there. Yeah. All right. Cool.
So, your job's done.
Yeah. All right. See you tomorrow.